put on this shirt today. Can you see it? It says, I bend so I don't break, which is going to sort of be the theme of today's practice. I was walking around yesterday. I live in Santa Monica. There's lots of palm trees here where I live, and it was windy, and I was just reminded how the palm trees, they are flexible, right? They're rooted, they're grounded, but no matter what storms come, they just sway with it, right? They're just stable and solid, but they're at ease and flexible. And so I just love that idea of embodying that, right? So that we take our yoga off of our yoga mat, and we're just going to practice that today. Finding that balance between the effort and the ease. Somebody's typing in. Let me see. Make sure you guys can all hear me. Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure there was nothing wonky going on with the sound. All right, so let's start by lying down on our mats. Oh, glasses have to come off. So go ahead and lie back and take a moment just to get comfortable. You can have your knees bent or your legs long. Let your arms go kind of wide. You might want to slide your shoulder blades down, close your eyes, let your palms spin up, which helps the shoulders just get a little heavier. You might want to rock your head side to side. Whatever you need is fine, right? This is your body and your practice. And once you find that you are starting to settle in, just take a nice long deep breath in and gently and smoothly let it go. And as you let it go, feel yourself soften and ground against the earth. And do that again when you're ready. A long, deep breath in, feeling that buoyancy, that lift of the inhale. Letting the breath go when you're ready and feeling sort of the density of the exhale. You just sort of melt in and settle back. And then close the lips if they're not, softly, and just breathe through the nose. Smooth, rich breathing. And just taking a moment here just to anchor into the breath, which helps you anchor into the body. Feeling the sensation of breath as it fills you and empties you. And then see if you can direct the breath a little bit more downward into the belly, feeling the belly expand in all directions as you inhale, like a big balloon. And gently deflating as you exhale. So the waist hugs toward the spine just naturally, and the sides of the waist are naturally going to pull inward as well. And then 2 more breaths like that in your belly. So when we're stressed, we tend to breathe in the upper chest, and when we're relaxed, typically the breath goes a little bit further down into the lower portion of the lungs, activating that relaxation response of the parasympathetic nervous system. So on this last exhale, see if you can actively now pull the belly button toward the spine and hold on to that for a moment, keeping the breath out. Flex the feet, so toes pull back toward the shin. See if you can draw the low back a little closer toward the floor, and then inhale, arms overhead. And let the ribs float up, let the belly fill, let the low back lift a little. And again, as you exhale, your belly's going to hug inward, the sides of the waist are going to hug inward, and start to flatten the low back against the floor. It doesn't have to go all the way flat. And just feel that support. One more time. Inhale, stretch from hands to heels, belly filling. And as you exhale again, belly pulls in, those front ribs draw toward the back ribs. Good. And then take your feet onto the floor, so bending the knees. And go ahead and open the arms out nice and wide, straight or into a cactus shape or a goalpost shape, whichever you prefer. Good. And then let the feet wiggle together and drop the knees apart. Right? And it's not about touching the outer knees to the floor. In fact, every shape that we're in our practice, we don't want to force, right? We just want to feel so that we're safe and aligned, but it's never about making the shape look any particular way, as long as we're safe. So again, breathe into the belly here. Might feel really good in this shape. And as you exhale, again, the belly's going to hug in. The sides of the waist are going to pull in, and you're going to bring the knees up together. And then you're just going to wiggle the feet apart so the inner knees touch. And let both knees go all the way over to the left, looking to the right, but you can close your eyes. And just feel how that feels on the right leg, the right thigh. Feel the breath filling and emptying the belly. Relax the face. And on your next exhale, same thing. The belly hugs in, the sides of the waist pull in, and that helps you bring the knees up safely using your core rather than your low back. And then when you're ready, knees touch, and then they go over to the other side, and you can turn the gaze opposite to the knees, and just take a couple breaths to feel the left side of the waist, that left hip and thigh. All right, so stay with your body, stay with your breath so that you stay in sensation, and that helps to bring you out of your thinking mind. Belly hugs in as you exhale here actively to bring the knees back up. Good, and then when the knees come up, you can bring the feet back together beneath the knees, and you can hug both knees up and into the chest. You can rock a little side to side until you rock over to one side. Some people like to rock forward and back along their spine, whatever you prefer. And then you're just going to make your way up off of your back. We'll get there later though. And just come up to hands and knees. All right. So a really sweet beginning. I know it's a short practice, but just like to activate the core there a little and get some little hip opener and a little twist there in the beginning. So hands here are right beneath your shoulders just so that you're safe and secure. Safe, I think I just made up a new word. Right knee under right hip. And then extend your left foot to the back of the mat. So open into the back of that leg for a little bit, for a little moment, lifting the thigh bone up, but the ball of the foot presses down. And then just spin the heel down and lift the left hand up. Now, if you want to play with a little bit more balance here, you can point the right toes toward the left heel and sort of stack everything up in a line, right wrist, right knee, right top of the foot to the left heel. But if your balance is wonky, you can take the knee a little forward or you can kick the right foot a little backward, okay? So it's all good. This bottom shoulder down, down, down away from the ear, neck in line with the spine, and left hand lifts, fingers spread. And then hug the floor with that back foot. And imagine that this is sort of like the tree pose because we're going to be there today. So this is just a first sort of invitation and introduction to it. And if you like, you can lift this left hand. You can just circle it around and circle your head around. I like to sometimes do that just to loosen into the neck a bit. So I'm just going to give you lots of options and you do what feels right. Good. And then see if on your exhale, next exhale, left hand lifts and belly hugs in, and then the left foot lifts off the floor, hip height. So flex that foot. So now it might look a little bit more like the tree pose shape. And then see if you can take that left foot forward with a straight leg, but if you need to bend it, you can bend it. You can let the left arm drift backward. And just be aware that this bottom shoulder is not rounding forward. Draw it down the back. Good. Belly pulls in again as you exhale. And then we'll come back to center on an inhale and take the left hand back down. Good. Keep the left foot lifted there, but point the toes down. Both hands are on the floor. And then on your next exhale, just bend the lifted leg, knee pulls toward the nose, round your back and press the floor away. And then extend the leg back as you inhale, get some length from heel to head. Take the left knee over to the outer left elbow as you exhale. And again, inhale, lengthen it back. And exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, extend it back. And exhale, knee to outer left elbow. Good. Extend it back as you inhale. And then set the left knee down next to the right knee. And we'll do it all on the second side. So right toes come to the back of the mat to start. It feels kind of good sometimes just to stretch that calf and lift the thigh bone so you open into the back of the knee. Good. And then pivot the foot down and float the right hand up. All right. So now I can see you guys. Not really. I can pretend. I'm teaching an actual class. Left shoulder down the back, right hand reaches and fingers spread, back foot really hugs the floor. And then again, if you want to play with balance, you just make a line from wrist to knee to foot, right? If balance is wonky, no worries. Foot kicks back. It's all good. Hug the floor with that back foot. Circle around this right arm if you like. Make it feel good. Do whatever's nice. For a lot of us, we hold tension in the neck and the shoulders. I do as well. So really like a little movement there, a little circulation there. So right hand lifts up, belly hugs in, and then right foot floats up. Good. Lengthen from heel to head. Yeah? Good. Hug the belly in and take that right foot forward in line with the hip. It's okay if the knee bends. Maybe the right arm wants to float back. Left bottom shoulder down, down, down the back. Feel the balance. Feel your breath. One more exhale. Good. And then inhale, right foot back and right hand down. Nice. Pivot the right toes down so the hips are now neutral. That right hip isn't lifting higher than the left. And on the next exhale, bend the lifted leg, knee toward the nose, round your back, press the floor. Extend the leg back as you inhale, get length from heel to head. Right knee out or right elbow, exhale. We'll do it again. Inhale, lengthen it. Exhale, knee to nose. It's okay if it doesn't touch. Inhale, lengthen it. Everything's okay. Exhale, knee, outer elbow. Good. Extend it back. Inhale. And both knees down. Exhale. And then we'll just cat-cow here. So heart comes forward as you inhale. Shoulders roll back. Widen the collarbones. Round the back as you exhale. Drop your head. Press the floor. Pull the belly button up and in. One more time. Inhale. Loop the shoulders back. Gaze slightly forward. Keep the back of the neck a little long. And exhale to round in. Get some space there in the back body. And if you want to sway a little with the torso or the hips or the head, go for it. And then we'll return to that flat back. A neutral spine. Belly pulls in. We'll curl the toes under. Take your hands a little wide if you like. I like my hands a little wide in the down dog for the carrying angle. And then lift the knees and pull your hips back to down dog. And you can just keep the knees on the floor if you prefer. If you're brand new to practicing yoga and this becomes too much, just drop the knees back down. It's all good. So remember when we talked about in the beginning that being able to just sway with whatever is, right? To find the balance between ease and effort. In yoga we call it sukha as ease and effort is sthira. So we want to find that balance. Feel free to do any movement you want in your first downward dog so that there's effort, but there's just as much ease. Really important that we're kind and gentle with ourselves in our practice because it's sort of like a little microcosm, a little mini world of how we operate in the world, and we can just work on some things that we notice that might not be serving us, although we really don't want to judge it, yeah? So gentle. Find that length from heels to hips and hands to hips. Face softens. Good. When you're ready, go ahead and just lift your heels, bend your two knees, and pull the hips back as you gaze forward. And then walk up to the front of your yoga mat. Come to a flat back as you inhale, so hands can float all the way up to the thigh bones. Lift the face away from the floor. See if you can parallel the spine to the earth. And then draw the shoulder heads back. Pull the belly button in. You can use your two hands to sort of prop your ribs away from your hips equally on all sides. Back of the neck stays long here. You're not going to gaze forward. Look straight down. Good. Take an inhale here. And then fold forward as you exhale. So just drop your head. You can bend the knees as much as you like. And in fact, you can sway a little bit with the hips or one knee at a time. Let your head really hang heavy. Good. And then bend your knees enough so the fingertips are on the floor. And take a big step back with your left foot. So the right foot stays right where it is. You can walk your hands on either side of the right foot. You can take both hands on top of this right thigh. Just make sure the knee's right over the heel there. And start to prop yourself up. All right, good. And then put a little bend in the back knee. And feel, if you can, with the hands pressing against that leg, that length through the torso on all sides. So the tendency is for this right hip to jet forward. Drop back a little bit, which is going to help with that back knee bent. And then when you're ready, arms lift up. And feel for the fingertips lifting the ribs away from the hips, right? But the shoulders and neck stay relaxed, and your gaze is just forward. And you can sink as low as you like into the legs. In fact, you can even drop that back knee all the way to the floor if you want to. If you want to lift one hand a little higher than the other and create a little more space in each side of the waist, that might feel nice. And on an exhale, you're going to pull the belly button back, 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 and maybe sink a little lower. And then let your arms drop, let your hands drop and spin the palms up, lift the heart. And now the front side of the body is going to be a little longer than the back side of the body. That's okay. Take a nice big breath into your heart space. And hands come back to the earth next to and on either side of that right foot. All right, look forward, and as you exhale, step forward. Flatten the back as you inhale. Hands can prop all the way up to the thighs to lengthen the back body as much as the front side. Shoulders away from ears. And then go ahead and fold, drop your head, bend the knees a little or a lot. You can sway. Feel the breath. Use those long breaths to help you stay really relaxed, really at ease. When you're ready, we'll take a big step back with the other foot, the right foot. Now, if your balance was a little wonky when you lifted up before, make sure your feet are hips width apart, right, so that you're not on a tightrope here. And then both hands to that front left thigh, left knee over the heel. Start to prop your ribs away from your hips. So feeling that length that you can create there. Little bend in the back knee is going to help the back body lengthen. When and if you're ready, arms can lift. Again, that back knee can come all the way down to the floor if you want. Left hip draws back a little bit. Lift the fingertips to lift the ribs. Soften the face, steady your gaze. You can sink as low as you like. Feel the belly expanding and softening. Hug the belly in a little bit more on the next exhale. Good. And then let the arms drop. Palms spin up. The more you can turn the thumbs out, the wider those collarbones can get. The more ease in the heart space. Put a little smile on your face if you want, because you're challenging yourself to stay calm, to stay steady, to be so flexible. Maybe sink a little lower. Take one more inhale. Lift your heart. You can lift your gaze. Hands come to the earth as you exhale. Good. Looking forward on your inhale. Stepping forward. Exhale. Flatten the back again. Inhale, get that length through your torso, shoulders down away from the ears, even the neck is long. And we'll fold in half, dropping the head. All right, so here, fingertips can come onto the floor. You're going to start to bend your knees. So think about like sitting in a little tiny, tiny chair. Lift all 10 toes. Hands come right up to those thighs again to prop your torso up. Right, so you're in a chair shape, but the arms are helping you, and you might need a bend in the elbows. It doesn't matter, whatever you need here. Good. And then weight stays in the heels. All 10 toes, maybe they can lift and spread. Drop your shoulders. Find that length from the crown of the head to the tip of the tailbone. Pull the belly button in. So again, the torso is long on all four sides. Maybe sink a little lower. Maybe lift the arms up if you want. So it's a little more challenging, right? And you play with how much challenge you want to bring into your practice. And you moderate it and manage it with the breath. Right? The breath is easy and free and fluid and smooth to help you determine that you're still at ease. Sinking but reaching, take your inhale. And standing up as you exhale. Bring your hands right together in front of your heart, prayer pose. All right. Take a moment just to maybe set a little prayer, right, for yourself, for the world right now, for anybody that you know who's struggling, maybe everybody that you know who's struggling, right, so that we give a little bit of what we receive from our practice, at least energetically, at least with intention. Because again, there's that balance, right, giving and receiving, breathing in, breathing out, ease and effort, front and back. Balance is, I believe, one of the keys to health. All right, let's take our hands to our two hips here for a moment. And look down at your feet and just see that they're parallel right beneath your hips. I'm just going to face you for a minute. And when we say hips, we don't mean the outer hips, we mean the hip bones, right? So right beneath the hips there, so that again, you're stable. Not on a tightrope, feet aren't together here. And then take your hands onto your hips with the thumb sort of behind you, so you can almost use the thumbs to kind of press the low back down. And again, you're gonna lift the torso. You're gonna lengthen through the spine, feeling that length on all sides of the waist. The shoulders drop. And feel for lengthening from heels to head. So imagine you're growing roots. We're gonna be coming to the tree pose momentarily. Growing roots from your feet, like you're a tall palm tree, right? Really long roots that reach all the way down into the earth there. Feel that sensation of grounding. Your toes are relaxed, the feet are pressing, the head is lifting, the belly hugs in for a little bit of support, and find a steady gaze that you're not going to move your eyes from. So don't look at me. If you turn your head, you're more likely to fall. And just find something that's not moving. And then on an exhale, you're going to hug the belly in and just lift the left knee up toward the chest. If you want, you can take your hands to the shin and give it a little tighter hug in, but lengthen from standing foot to head. Good, and then you're going to come to the tree pose here. So you can take the left hand to the left ankle and place it on the inner thigh, or you can place it on the inner lower leg, or your toes can rest right on the floor and you can place the foot on the inner ankle. You just don't want to put it on the knee, so above or below, and you just find what place feels most appropriate for you today. And then take your hands back to your hips just for a moment once you've found your place, right? And if you're wobbling, it's all good. Just breathe, right? Find that ease in the challenge. Make sure the left hip isn't lifting. So the hips are neutral. And then the outer right hip hugs in toward the left hip or left foot if the foot is placed on the inner thigh. Tailbone reaches away from the brainstem toward that standing heel. Belly hugs in. If you like, go ahead and lift your arms. And as you lift your arms, you're lifting your ribs, but rooting into that standing foot, really pressing it down. You're going to feel movement, right? Balance is a verb as well as a noun. There is movement. Right, and it's all good. You can spread your fingers, you can spread out your arms. You can imagine like you have big palm frond leaves, right? And there's a little movement. There's like flexibility. You blow in the wind, but you don't fall. And if you do fall today, it's okay. You're just practicing, right? Keep breathing, softening, that steadiness and that ease, that effort. And that softness. Good. One more inhale here, and then we'll be all done with this side. Hands come back to the heart as you exhale, prayer pose, and then left foot comes to the earth. You can go ahead and drop your hands and just kind of shake it out. I kind of like to do that sometimes so that sometimes we get a little too rigid, right? We want to stay flexible. Bending so we don't break. Okay, feet root, hips distance apart. We're going to go right to the other side. Start with the gaze, start with your breath, right? So if you don't have those things, you're much less likely to find balance. And then feel for the hands to the hips if you like. So the low back lengthens, tail reaches toward the heels, ribs climb up, belly supports that, shoulders and face soft, right? You got it. Grow roots from your feet into the earth, and then on an exhale, right knee comes up. Yeah? You can take the hands to the shin if you like to give it a little squeeze and lengthen a little more from standing foot to head. And then go ahead and take that right hand to the ankle maybe, place the foot on the inner thigh, inner calf, or inner ankle. Right? If you're just new to this, take it onto the inner ankle so you have a little, like a little training wheel, right? You don't go from 0 to 100 in just a couple moments. Bring the hands back to the hips once you've found your placement. Left hip, that's the standing leg, hugs in toward the right foot. Doesn't matter how much this right knee turns out. You want your hips facing forward, which is why your hands are there to help guide that. Belly hugs in. You can bring the hands back to the heart if that's more stable for you in prayer pose. You can lift the hands up if you like, lifting those back ribs, keeping the core a little supported, the hips hugging a little, the face soft, maybe smiling. You can spread your leaves, right? You can reach out to the sun like a tree. growing roots, but opening up to all that nourishment from the sun, from the air, flexible and strong. In fact, even here, maybe you can send out a bigger intention of love and healing to the world, and maybe you draw it right back into yourself. We'll take one more breath in here. And exhale, belly in, hands come back to the heart, sealing that, and then right foot to the earth. All right, you can shake it out, do anything that feels good. All right, feet press, head lifts, belly hugs in, and we'll inhale, arms up. Big, sweet stretch. You can even lean back if you want to, and we'll fold forward, exhale. We'll step the left foot all the way back and inhale all the way up to the crescent pose. If you want to use your hands to prop you up, feel free. We're going to turn to the right on the exhale and spread the arms. Yeah, spread the fingers, hug that right hip back, drop the right hand back there to the left hamstring and just lift the left hand up and back. You can keep the back knee bent or you can straighten it and draw the heel back as you lift that left hand toward that back top corner of your room. Take a breath in here. And then left hand comes to the earth. Right hand lifts up to the sky. Good. Hug that right hip back. Press into the right big toe. Hug your hips together. Good. Take a breath. And then right hand swims back and down to the earth. Looking forward on an inhale. Stepping forward, exhale. Lift the heart. Inhale, flatten the back. Hands can come all the way up to the thighs if you like. And fold, exhale. Good. Big step back with your right foot. We'll do it all on the other side. Remember, feet about hips width. Inhale all the way up to your crescent shape. Hands lifting. You can prop yourself up if that's nicer. Hips hugging and sinking. Back ribs up a little higher if you want on that inhale. Turn left, spread arms, exhale. Good. So left hip hugs back, hiccups, hips hug towards one another, and then left hand drops to the back of the right leg, and right hand lifts up. So play with it. Do you want the back knee down or bent? Do you want the back knee straight with the heel reaching back, and the right hand reaching to that top back corner of the room where the ceiling meets the wall? Big inhale should feel nice in the front of that right hip. Right hand to the earth as you exhale, just next to that left foot, and then left hand lifts up. So the tendency here is for the hips to sort of sway apart. Hug them in. Hug them toward the midline of your body. Press into that left big toe. Spread your left fingers. Take a breath. And then left hand returns to the earth. Looking forward on an inhale and stepping forward. Exhale. Good. Inhale, lift the heart, flat back. And exhale, fold. Take your hands down, bend your knees, and we're going to just step both feet back now to the plank pose. All right, readjust if you need to readjust. Something kind of weird just happened there for me. Belly hugs in. You can drop your knees if you need to, right? Find your ease in the effort. We're just holding plank for about 30 seconds. How's that? That's probably just about 4 breaths if the breaths are long and smooth. Belly hugs in. Can you feel, again, that length in the torso? Sides of the waist long, front of the waist long, back of the waist long, shoulders down away from the ears, face soft. Head's not dropping, neck in line with the spine. Tailbone reaches towards those heels. Good. You can drop the knees if you need to. Remember, we're going to end up lowering down, and I'm going to drop my knees. So take an inhale, last inhale. Belly hugs in as you exhale to lower all the way down to the floor. And pause when you get there. Point your toes. Roll your shoulders back and lift your heart for cobra pose. Oh, that rhymed. Lift the front ribs away from the hips. Put a little bend there in the elbows. The hips are on the earth. The shoulders slide down. Let the heart gently open. Press into the tops of the feet there. Pull the belly button in. Take one more inhale. And then come up to your knees. So hips lift. Curl the toes under. Last downward facing dog. Hips pull back. Heels dip, hands press. Feel into the length of both sides of the waist, the front and back of the waist. If you want to bump the hips to one side or the other and sway the head a little, that might feel nice. And then when you're ready, let both knees come to the floor. Crawl them forward. And we're going to make our way back onto our backs. So get there any way you like to get there. Give the knees a nice little hug. Give yourself a little hug and a little love. Let your head rest. You can rock a little side to side. Sort of my go-to whenever I get on my back, but you know, we're all different, so do whatever feels comfortable for you here. And then let both feet come onto the floor when you're ready, with bent knees, right? And again, feet hips width apart. All right, and then we're just going to draw the right knee into the chest and lift the right foot up toward the ceiling. You can take your hands behind this right leg, fingers interlaced, and see if you can snuggle the shoulders down away from the ears and lengthen into the back of the neck. You can roll the right foot around at the ankle. We stood on that one foot each time, right? So loosening up the ankle might feel kind of nice. And then flex the foot as if you're pressing the foot against the ceiling. If you're looking at a ceiling, if you're outside, you can imagine a ceiling above you. And just enjoy a little hamstring stretch, right? So you're pulling the leg toward you as much as you like. The bent leg, the left foot on the floor, is helping to anchor your low back. Good, and then you're just going to support the right leg with the right hand and let that straight or straightish right leg drift out to the right. But I should say, actually, before doing that, make sure you press the leg forward a little bit so that right side of the waist stays long. It's not hiking up. Yeah. So now the right leg drifts out. You can support the leg with the hand. You can let it fall all the way to the floor. It really depends on what feels nice for you. And then this bent left knee, let it drift out to the left. It's just getting a nice little inner thigh release there. And again, you can roll the foot or you can keep it flexed. Feel the shape, feel the sensations of it, feel your breath. As you exhale next, the belly pulls in, the sides of the waist pull in, and everything comes back up. Right foot up, left knee back up. Good. And then we're just going to hug the right knee back into the chest and take the right foot back to the floor. We're going to do it on the other side. Left knee pulls into the chest, left foot lifts up, hands behind the left hamstring, shoulders snuggle down, back body long, chin a little to the chest. You can roll the foot at the ankle, loosening up. Keep the breath flowing if you can, and then flex the foot, right, so that you encourage the front of the leg to activate, which helps the back of the leg let go. Same thing like when we hug our belly in. So heel reaches up, flat foot against a ceiling or an imaginary ceiling there. And imagine you could press the leg against the hands, right? So that left side of the waist stays long. And then support the leg with the outer left hand. And let that straight left leg drift out to the left. It's okay if it's bent. Let the right bent knee drift out to the right. Yeah? And just feel the shape. It's not about touching the foot to the floor. It's never about how far you go. It's about just noticing the sensations along the way so that you find the place that's just right for you, where there's a little work, but an equal amount of ease and softness. Rolling the foot is optional. On your exhale, the belly hugs in, the sides of the waist hug in, and the left foot comes back up, the right knee comes back to center. Go ahead, take that left knee back into the chest. And then left foot back onto the floor. We're going to bring the feet back together, drop the knees apart. Yeah? Let's take a hand onto the heart and a hand onto the belly if you'd like to help you feel the breath. Or if it's nicer, you can reach the arms back or take the cactus shape with the arms. Your choice. Close your eyes. Feel the body receiving your breath as you inhale, the belly expanding like a balloon. And that gentle letting go as you exhale, deflating that balloon. All through the nose, really long, really smooth, really rich, really healing. So just increasing our lung capacity, creating more elasticity in our lungs, Taking in fuller, longer breaths helps to slow the breath down, helps to slow the mind down, the thought stream, and helps to encourage our immune system to do what it does best and take such good care of us. The next time that you exhale, hug the belly in, the sides of the waist in. You might feel the pelvic floor turn on there. It's all good. Bring the knees back up. Good, and then again, wiggle the feet apart. Let the knees touch. Open out your arms in a cactus shape or straight, optional. Looking to the right, let both knees go over to the left. And just feel how that feels. And if you want to feel a little more, if this isn't quite enough, you can place the pinky side of that left foot on top of the outer right leg. Just giving it a little more gravity, a little more weight, not waiting. Breathe nice and deeply. Imagining that those inner organs are just getting a little more love, a little more oxygen, releasing more toxicity as you exhale, because really that's what happens. And on your next exhale, again, same thing. Belly hugs in. Take the foot away from the leg if you placed it there to bring the knees back up. Knees knock, feet wide. Yeah. Inhale at center just for a moment. Make sure the low back feels long here. And then look to the left and let the knees go to the right when you're ready. And again, if you want to feel a little more, the pinky edge of the right foot can go right on top of that left leg. You don't want any pain in your knee, right? So if there's any pain in your knee doing that, then don't do it. Back off. Can you breathe into the sensations that you're feeling? Can you stay present? And that's a challenge, isn't it? So in the effort of staying present to the body sensations and the sensations of the breath, can you be easy and kind and gentle with yourself, because your mind will drift. And so find that ease as you come back and forth between thoughts and breath without judging. Last exhale here. Take the foot off the leg if it was there. Hug the belly and the waist in to bring the knees back up. Very nice. Wiggle the feet right beneath the knees. Draw both knees up and into the chest. And go ahead and give yourself a big hug and a squeeze. You can lift your nose to your knees. You can wrap your arms around your legs. And then when you're ready, take a really big breath. Hold the breath when you get all the way full. Just for 3 and 2 and 1. And then let go of the body, let go of the breath, and we'll rest in Shavasana. So let your arms go out, let your legs go out. Feel free to take up some space here if you have it. Let your palms spin up. You might slide your shoulder blades down. You might rock your head side to side if that's nice. And then let the back of the neck be long. Separate the top and bottom teeth so you're not clenching your jaw. Close and soften your eyes. And keeping the lips gently touched together, let the breath just flow through the nose without trying to deepen it or lengthen it, but still noticing it. Noticing how the body breathes for you, because it does all the time. And just noticing where you're feeling your breath in your body. If you are feeling it in your belly, that gentle expansion and the gentle softening. If you're feeling it at the nostrils where the breath enters and exits, or tracing the pattern of breath up the nose and down into the lungs, just stay with it if you can. So gently, so easily, so softly. And let the body relax and settle. forehead and eyebrows relax. Palms of the hands and the soles of the feet, the belly. Sense into the support of the earth beneath you that literally has your back right now. Is there anything that you'd like to surrender and let go of? Is there anything in your body that's been disturbing you or in your mind that's been disturbing you that you can let go of just for now? It doesn't have to be forever because there's no forever. We're just here in this moment right now, moment by moment, breath by breath. And as you let go of any disturbances in the body or in the mind, just notice how it feels to just feel a little bit more at peace, a little bit more open to receiving all of the goodness of this practice and this moment. Each present precious moment is filled with so much sweetness, so much possibility. We don't often give ourselves time to fully be present and at ease, to receive it all. So just allow that for yourself, right here, right now. And in that spaciousness, that peacefulness, what comes up? What comes to mind? Are there any insights, any ideas? Anything that you'd like to share with the world? Anyone that pops into your mind's eye? So that again, as we receive, we also give. And that's just a natural balance. Receiving the next inhale. Letting it go as you exhale. And then take 2 long, deep breaths. Filling up a little more as you inhale. Letting go a little bit more as you exhale. And then this last one, can you fill up with gratitude? Appreciation for yourself and this practice. And let go of anything that gets in the way of that. And then maybe turn your head side to side. Maybe reach your arms back overhead and take a nice little stretch to re-wake things up. You can bend the knees. You can stay laying on your back if you want to longer. If you're ready to turn over to one side and press yourself back up and come up to the computer if you have any thoughts or questions, or you want to drop in a donation so that you also give a little from what you received. That's certainly appreciated. It's not necessary though. I'm so grateful that you're all here practicing. It's just a beautiful thing when we can help ourselves, because when we're more calm and at peace and, more able to go with the flow of life, then it's easier for us to manage all the different circumstances that life throws at us. And it's easier for us to be more giving with others because we're coming from this calmer, more centered, more grounded resilient, resourceful place, right? So thank you guys so much for doing the work, for sharing it with us, for coming together from all over the world to help heal yourselves and this planet.